This man is known for so many things, as the richest man who ever lived, as the wisest man who ever lived, and I don't know if he's also considered as the man with the most wives who ever lived. I'm talking about King Solomon here. He had 700 wives and 300 concubines. I mean, make it make sense. Did he even know all of them? When I read his story, a lot of questions usually pop up in my mind. I mean, what exactly were you looking for that you didn't find in wife 1 through to wife 700? I mean, and the funny thing is that though he was the richest and the wisest and he married all these women and concubines, he ended up saying all is meaningless. The funny thing is that usually this is what most people want in life. I mean, wealth, fame, he had all the women, he was wise, everything, but he ended up continually saying this is meaningless, this is meaningless. And that's why I've been asking a lot of questions. So kindly sit with me and let's digest the story well. But please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Smash the like button. I'm trying to grow my channel, and your subscription and your like will mean a lot to me. Let's get into the story. Let's start with the why. Why did wise man Solomon marry that many wives? The short answer is that unless you bring him back to life to ask him why he married that many wives, we might not know the actual reason, but from the story we can deduce a few other reasons. The first is influence. When you read the story well, you would see how they say he married Pharaoh's daughter for political expediency and to have allies with other kings. The second thing I'm thinking here is greed. Greed is a form of lust, and he had all the riches, so probably he was asking himself, why don't I have all the women too? Someone said that probably self-control was not part of the gifts of wisdom he received. We've spoken about greed and influence, but I'm still not getting there. Why exactly would you marry that many wives? What was it? And then it dawned on me that it's discontentment. You see the statement, nothing satisfies, nothing truly satisfies. I mean, I'm trying to be critical here, but from wife 1 up to wife 100, probably Solomon should have started to realize that women will not satisfy him and that he has to probably go back to the author of everything who provided him with everything. Because if wife 1 doesn't satisfy you, I doubt if wife 700 will. And so what can we learn from the life of Solomon? What lessons can we deduce from this path of him? And the first is no amount can satisfy a discontent heart. It goes back to all I've been saying along. If little wealth doesn't satisfy, no amount of wealth will satisfy you. If one wife doesn't satisfy you, no amount of many wives you would marry will satisfy you. As the writer of the Proverbs, he ignored the wisdom in the Proverbs that says, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it comes the issues of life. Solomon concluded that all of his life's pleasures was meaningless. The wisdom, the wealth, the wives he got. He said in Ecclesiastes, if life was worth living. He said life was empty and wrote in that book more than 30 times that life is vanity of vanities. And I think this is something we should critically consider as we go about our lives daily. We should learn to be content in the little and in the plenty. The second thing is that he probably thought that many wives and concubines would bring him happiness. And I think this is a call to focus on things that really matters and not pleasures. I mean, he's a writer of the Proverbs which talks so much about women, saying that a nagging wife would drive a man crazy. It's better to live alone in the desert than to live in the same house with a quarrelsome, complaining wife. Imagine having 700 wives and concubines and all of them are complaining on your head. I mean, what kind of happiness are you going to have as a man? And this is what I'm talking about. We should focus on things that really matter. And this is not just about marriage, it's about other areas of life too. There are just so many things we are pursuing, and day in, day out, we are focusing our energy and our time, focusing on those things that really doesn't actually provide us with the happiness we think they would. And I've always said that sometimes you are crying to God for a job, that when you get a job, you are going to be really happy. And then you get a job and you realize within a week you want something else. And it doesn't really even give you the happiness you thought it was going to bring. And so I think we should focus on things that really matters, and maybe we'll find happiness in those things. Another thing I'm deducing from this story is that it's not enough to start well. We must seek the grace to end well too. King Solomon really started well. I mean, at a point in time, his fame was well known over every nation, and people used to come sit before him just to listen to his wisdom. And that also happens in our lives now. Sometimes you see people start well, and the end is a disaster. You are wondering what happened, what changed in you. And I am thinking that once a while, we should always sit down and ponder on our lives and re-evaluate things. Who were you before you became who you have become? It's a question you should keep asking yourself. Lastly, it does not pay to disobey. When you read his story, it tells us that the heart of Solomon was turned away and he worshipped other gods. And this was as a result of the fact that he married foreign women who came with their gods, and his heart was drifted. So he started worshipping those kind of gods. And he had received so many warnings from God, but he didn't. I mean, his heart had just fallen off so much that he couldn't even come back to listen to God, to obey him. And he forgot that it was God who gave him the wisdom and the wealth and everything he had owned. And this led to so many other people suffering the consequences of the mistakes he did. And so this is what I have tried to learn or deduce from the life of Solomon, who married 700 wives and 300 concubines. What do you make of his story? Leave a comment in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Smash the like button, and I'll be coming your way next time again with another one. I'll see you later. Bye.